Hello! Welcome to the third episode of Fort Worth Writers Boot Camp's Facebook Live. The topic of tonight is going to be creating your ideas book. What I hope to accomplish today is to give you some ideas of what you can do to be organized as a writer and how to put your ideas down so that you are able to find them and know what to do with them once you get them. So, what an ideas book is. It can actually be anything that you want it to be, whatever works best for you in organization, but some ideas that are good for ideas books. They could be a notebook, it can be a binder where you keep everything, it can be files on your computer, it can be sheets in a file folder, which isn't as organized. I'm going to show you an example of something that I have that not 100% organized. You can use the notes function on your cell phone. That's always a great idea, and every once in a while when I'm in the pinch, I will jot something down on my phone note section and hopefully try to remember it whenever I get home. Works sometimes, especially whenever I get ready to do that grocery list. I'm like, oh, what's that? You can also use the voice recording function on your phone. So if you're driving and you have a great idea when you're driving, do not start typing things out on your phone. Try to carefully find the voice notes section of your phone and record it, because then you can save it to your phone. You can then use a cloud storage device. You can email it to yourself, however that you choose to do it, to get that uploaded to your phone. So what you use your ideas book for is you can keep all of your ideas that you have in that ideas book. I know that sounds very vague, but if you have a scenario for a story that you think will work, and most of the time scenarios are just ideas that would work for a scene or two, but those are always very useful for jump starting your writing whenever you get on. So scenarios, any good dialogue that you think of, or if you overhear somebody say something. I have a couple of lines that I hear in the library that the kids say. They always say kids say the darndest things. Well, teenagers say crazy things, and I'll write that stuff down all the time. Character names. If somebody has a great name, you can jot that down in your ideas book. I see Sharon joined. Hi Sharon, thanks for joining. So we're talking about ideas books and what you can put in your ideas book. You can put title names whenever you're doing title name. You think of a great title for your book, or even a chapter title. Hi Melissa, thanks for joining. So you can get some story starts. So if you have the really great beginning to a story, you can jot that down. Any quotes that you see for inspiration that really gets you going on writing, or something that stimulates you for ideas that you can have for future stories, that would be very useful. Funny or interesting situations. I find some funny or interesting situations that I end up jotting down whenever I'm in bars, because you see all kinds of crazy things. And even whenever I was in Paris just recently, I jotted down a story just from something that I observed in one of the cafes that I was in, and it was pretty funny. That's going to end up somewhere in a story. So, or just whatever you see or whatever you think just pops in your head, that's what you would put in your ideas book. It can be a clipping from a newspaper story. It could be anything. So, what you need to do with your ideas book is to make a goal to get your ideas organized in one place. And I told you that I was going to show you some different ways that I have ideas books. So one of my earliest ways of doing an ideas book is in binders. So I have two huge binders of things that I use for ideas. Now some of them were from a lot of my screenplays that I wrote, and I have information on those. And inside of it, like this one right here, this was from a class that I took on writing, but I took it to a screenwriting conference and was able to jot down some things. I was in a hotel, so I have a little papers that were in the hotel. I had bought some note cards because I thought, well, maybe I need to do some note card writing. I even have an envelope that I took notes on at some point. It's pretty crazy, the things that I have in this ideas book. And this was probably from 2008, 2009. And this one that has the huge pile of stuff in it, this is one that I had kind of collected all of my things in. So I have some folders, I have some pieces of notebook paper that I had in them. I have entire manuscripts of screenplays that I wrote. But I also, when I was going through this just the other day and prepping for this group, for this Facebook Live, I found a story that I wrote, and I know it's backwards for you, but I found a story, a short story that I wrote in October 10th, 1986, that I found in one of my ideas books. And I read over it, and it's a pretty good story. I think I'm going to submit it to my critique group and see what they think. They're going to enjoy that, I can tell you. But this is not really a hyper-organized ideas book. It's just what I was doing to kind of get by. I have on my desk, I have a pretty little bowl. I love milk glass. And I have little sheets of paper that I have taken notes on randomly at school. Sometimes when I'm doing things where I know I can't, read or write, like, if I'm about to start proctoring a test or something, I have these little notepads, little bitty, size of my palm, that I can take notes in. This one is not as full as some of the others. And what I end up doing is I take these notes and then I type them up on my laptop at some point, or my iPad, because I do have Word on my iPad. You'll notice that right here, this is my outline for my ideas book session that I'm doing right now. And I'll type up in Word, and then I'll save it on a cloud drive. So the one that I use the most is OneDrive. You get, I think, 5 gigabytes or something for free. You get a whole bunch of room for free. And you can do OneDrive, you can do Dropbox, and I organize everything through Dropbox and OneDrive. So on my apps, what's great about OneDrive and Dropbox, I have the two right there on my iPad. What's great about those is that I can have it on my iPad. It also syncs to my laptop, my personal laptop. It'll sync to my work laptop. So if there's something that I have this great idea and I'm at my desk and I have the time, I'll open up a file, type it up, and save it into my OneDrive account. So whenever I open up OneDrive, I have all of these folders that have everything listed. So if I go to, say, my Sleeping Panther Press folder, and I click on that, then I have subfolders that are in my Sleeping Panther Press folder. And within those, I mean, this is just a different way of finding things. But Panther City Review, I'll have, each volume that I have, and then I'll click on, like 2017, I have folders where I keep everything in. And for stories, when I'm writing stories or poetry, if I went to my writing section, if I have a lot of ideas that I have for a specific screenplay or book or short story, I'll just create a folder in that file, and then I'll save everything that I am doing with that file into that folder. So I've really taken my ideas book to a digital way of storing things, just because it's so much easier and it transfers all over. And if somebody wants to read something I have, all I have to do is go to OneDrive, I go to Dropbox, whatever I have it saved in, click on that, and I can email it to them immediately. I really like going the digital way. If you can be organized, there's nothing wrong with this. I know people that are not as organized in a binder as they could be, but it definitely helps to keep your ideas all in one place, so that if you do go back and you find something that you think was absolutely wonderful that you wrote when you were 11 years old, just like I did, then you can go and you can you can use that idea, because I'm going to use this story that I wrote when I was 11 in something that I'm writing. Feel free to ask any questions. Again, my name is Rachel Pilcher. This Facebook Live episode is on creating your ideas book, and it's just a way of storing everything that you have, the ideas that you have. So if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, if you are a writer and you store your ideas in a different way, very loud motorcycle going by, you store your ideas in a different way, feel free to pop up, put a comment on the video, and share how you do your ideas book. Thank you very much for joining me. Again, I'm Rachel Pilcher. I hope y'all have a great evening. Good night.